Alright, so look, the story that I alluded to in the previous episode of Strategic Rap Intelligence that was titled How to Detect a Super Fake Ass Gangster Dash or Hyphen Rap Counter Surveillance Rap Strategic Counter Surveillance 101 is as follows. Alright, so look, I meet this dude because he's referred to me by this fairly reliable source at the time. This was my guy, and what he would do is he was, someone who was a purveyor of certain hardware, if you will. He could get his hands on guns, computers, electronics, a multitude of things. I mean, I could go to this guy for whatever I needed. This was my guy, you know what I mean? And like I said at the time, he was fairly reliable. Well, he kept on the sidelines hyping up this dude who I had heard about from third parties. I had been hearing about this one particular dude that was supposedly this emerging rapper, right? And so anyway, I hear from my guy that I should take a chance and I should work with this other dude, this guy that's supposed to be this emerging rapper at the time. So my guy, who I could go to and get any kind of weapon that you could conceivably think of on the black market on the West Coast. I mean, this is my guy, man. You got to understand. I've done business with this guy for years. You know what I'm saying? He signed, to the record label. He raps. He's got talent. I've known him since he was a kid, since he was a youth. Well, now he's a young adult. And he's got this underworld enterprise at the time. This is West Coast shit, man. This is this is a war story. So at any rate, so many years back on the West Coast, my guy, one of my connections, he tells me, "Hey Rob, old boy," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've been hearing about dude. Why? What of it?" He's like, "Man, you gotta recruit dude. You gotta listen to me, 'cause he's the homie." I'm like, "What you mean he's the homie?" He's like, "Man, I know him." And he's like, "Rob, I know you've been hearing about this so-called rapper. I'm telling you, dude is the truth." I'm like, "Man, come on, man. I'm a skeptic. I mean, you got to give me more than that. I need some intel." You know what I'm saying? "Yeah, I've been hearing about dudes, so fucking what? So what? I hear about a lot of cats. What's so special about this particular, so-called rapper?" He's like, "Man, whoop-de-whoop and blase, blase, blah, 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 blah." But he gives me the CDs. So I got the CDs of the dude. So I listen to the dude's raps. And I keep an open ear, you know what I mean? I'm a scientist, so I'm peeping it. I'm like, all right, well, someone's telling me something, I'm going to listen. So I listen with the critical ear. Then he tells me, dude not only wants to get put on the record label and become part of our family, but that he wants to go on this tour that I had through the tour company up in Canada for the summer. So I'm thinking to myself, I actually do need someone to go on this tour, in addition to the artists who I already got going on this tour. I got Young Chili, he's finna go up to Canada, and do this tour. And, if it's cool with the Canadian government and, it's all legal, because, we were working through the bureaucratic red tape. And, this is a major tour. You could get, the tickets through Ticketmaster. And it was, across the provinces of Canada. It was like 20 different shows that we had in Canada alone. So dude wants to be part of this tour. And I'm like, well, what's he going to contribute? I'm not just going to sign dude on face value. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, hey man, he's willing to put up several $1,000s, to contribute to the production of the tour. And I'm like, well, the tour is produced, but if he wants to invest some money in this overall operation, then I'm willing to entertain this notion. Maybe. I got dude's CD. So anyway, he arranges for this telephone call. Now, mind you, I'm a skeptic. Robert Lee Taylor's a skeptic. He's a scientist. He doesn't just go with the okie doke. He's a veteran OG from the West Coast. Got stripes, got the credentials certified, bona fide. Alright, so look, I take a look at the intel. Dude wants on the label. I connect with them over the telephone. So we have this conversation, man-to-man talk. Dude goes on and on and on for light years about how he's the one who has been trying to get down with us for so long. I'm like, look, man, this is a cliche. I mean, what, you trying to be with the status quo? You trying to be with the mainstream. You trying to be with all these other rappers in Seattle that are talking about Seattle, Seattle, Seattle. I'm like, man, I'm from the EBT, a.k.a. Everett, Washington. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the artists I've signed are from Everett. Either that or they're from Seattle, but they're not, you know what I'm saying, down with all that fake gangster shit. These are cats that are mature. They have the minds of grown men and, grown women, because I got women signed to the label too, and they can see beyond Seattle. And they're not trying to be Seattle-centric. Okay, they understand that there's L.A. and New York and the South, and there's overseas tours, so they're not just talking about Seattle. I sign people from Seattle, Washington. That's right. As much shit as I talk about Seattle, Washington, man, I got love for certain parts of Seattle. I used to record in the Central District of Seattle. Really, when I went to Seattle, that's where I used to get down. Man, I have connections and allies in the Central District of Seattle. I saw the first Mac 10. I held my very first Mac 10. That's right, Mac 10 in the Central District of Seattle, Washington. True story. And have witnesses. So at any rate, I got people signed to the label from Seattle, but I'm not trying to sign anybody from Seattle that's talking about fuck Everett or fuck Tacoma. You know what I'm saying? Tacoma got its own thing going on. So anyway, dude's talking about, man, I'm originally from Sacramento, but I came to Everett, and he started to get that little voice. And I'm like, look, man, you need to pipe down, bruh. Don't be faking the fucking funk with us. We're going to do a background check. We're going to check you out. All these different things are going to happen. You know what I'm saying? All these events are going to take place. We're going to find out the truth about you. You don't need to fucking give us this long-ass fucking fishtail of a story. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, but you got to hear the raps and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. You went back into the little voice. I call it the snarl. It's what they do in Seattle when they want you to think that they're big ballas. They get the snarl and talking like this, like they're sniffing coke. Niggas is fake. So at any rate, dude's trying to tell me about his albums. He doesn't understand that I've had his albums for like a year, and that I've heard all of his tracks multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Checking them for authenticity. So now I'm talking to the cat, and I'm like, man, I've had your albums. You don't need to send me any MP3s or anything like that. In fact, I don't want you to email me because I got a system. And he's like stunned that I've heard his shit. I'm like, dude, this is a real record company who you're talking to. That's why your so-called homie, who's really my guy, my connection, went to great lengths to even arrange for this conversation in the first place. So look, man, without any further delay or ado, what happens is this dude, I get him, you know what I'm saying, in this, lie of his, and he's like, man, I never said that I'm against Seattle. That's not what he said. The only reason I signed him to the label in the first place was that he was against the status quo in Seattle. And he was talking about fuck Seattle and how he's really down with some Everett, EVT, and some California Bay Area music. At any rate, man, dude started bitching like a little fucking straight up fucking hoe cake. Called the fucking online record company that hosts the music on the internet and was talking about take his tracks down. I informed them that I had a contract with dude. Dude starts crying over the phone talking about Grove, that's me. You know what I'm saying? AKA One Sir Grove of EVT. Been like that since 1986. Do the math. I'm 34 years old. Been in this game for over 20 years. Even before I had the code name One Sir Grove of EVT, I was rapping at age 12. So Pete gang, dude is like, Grove, come on man, why you doing me like, I'm like, what you talking about? Nigga, you crying on the phone like a little old bitch calling yourself a gangster rapper. Okay? This motherfucker's talking about he's a gangster and shit, crying, talking about having his mom call me and shit. I told his mom, I said, look man, your son's a fucking drug dealer. I try to help his little monkey ass out. I try to help this little bitch. I try to help him with his life. I did everything I could to help dude. And then dude tried to cross me in the game. And he got crossed out. And therefore I have no fucking sympathy for him. What is your son is a so-called gangster rapper. He's crying on the phone. Talking about I did him dirty. He doesn't even talking about he had over 5,000 plays of his songs and that I had made $5,000 because people had downloaded his songs. I gave him the intel. I said, nigga, you had 3 fucking plays, maybe 5, on the internet. Nigga was stunned. thought he had over 5,000 plays and I had made over $5,000. Only 5 people played his song in 6 months.